Good morning, guys. This is Beanflip, and I wanted to do a brief video about some of my HDPE process that I've used. And some of the best results I've had was when just using scrap King starboard and just using I had a lot of 3/4 scrap that I had purchased pieces of and really liked making slingshots from those. But I kept all my scrap, and like the one that has been referred to as the zebra pattern was completely HDPE from the King starboard scrap. Black and white with just a little bit of blue pieces. So that's what I was doing with that there. I started out, I had made a small sheet metal pan, was trying to get a thicker sheet, something like this. It's fairly thick, but I struggled to get it to cool and be nice and at least flat on both sides. As you can maybe see here, this piece is a piece I didn't use all of it. I cut some of it off and used a different technique, but the top, I was pressing on the top of it and it got nice and flat, but as it cooled, the bottom was really uneven, and I had that happen a few times. And had some success with another method, so I just abandoned this one for the time being. And abandoned this pan as well. I started using, we're going to make a move here. I have, well, let's see here it is, cake pan. I have a small cake pan that I've been heating stuff in. I used oil in it, and the oil would kind of get dark, and just like a vegetable oil is always using. And then I got some parchment paper to try to prevent some of the browning effects I was getting. The parchment paper actually says not to use it in a toaster oven, but I have been. I think it gets too close to the elements, maybe. This is my toaster oven, just something that I had, and this small oven is what I've been using. I put this parchment in there, and I'll put a few little chunks on it, and I'm still experimenting, so sometimes I'll started putting recently some tin foil over it to reduce the browning of the paper and reduce the browning of the surface of the HDPE sometimes. So it's just big enough to sit in there, and I think we've mentioned before that a lot of times ovens aren't accurate with their temperatures. I've kind of got the scale that was on there and marked roughly where the actual temperatures are, and I think that even fluctuates a little bit. I have this old thermometer that I just had somewhere. If I can hold still. So I use that to really determine where my heat's at. And so I get it hot, get it soft. Time is just kind of depends on what else I'm doing. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe more. Usually to get some, depending on how much I've got in there. I haven't been weighing it or anything. I'm too lazy for that. I just put in an amount I think is fairly full in the pan, and you know, originally I was just trying to get thicker sheets, but now I'm just going for thinner sheets for the frame I was cutting out. And I may have had a little picture up of this little rig here at some point in the thread. Just a little bottle jack, and I got some pieces of like a paneling from an old shower paneling that the HDPE doesn't seem to stick to very good, even when it's gooey. So I put it in between the two old shower panels, and I smash it together in there. And this was something I did, the latest thing I did. You know, kind of mix it and see what I think and see what kind of look it's getting. And like this piece and the zebra pattern, I would melt it and it'd be fairly divided colors. You know, they were bigger chunks of starboard. So I'd melt them, maybe smash them a little bit with my hands with my gloves on, and then smash them in the vise here, in the jig. And then a lot of times I end up looking at it and I end up looking at the edges. A lot of times the edges are more compact, more pattern like this. So I just end up sawing off some strips and then turning those strips up on edge and putting them side by side, and then you get a little more dramatic patterns. Take advantage of some of those more fine patterns in the pieces. And so, the thicknesses, I'm usually going for a thickness somewhere like this, somewhere between 1/4 to 5/8, and it's really pretty darn strong. Especially the King Starboard has been really strong for me. Here's a fail with some Tide detergent bottles. Hated the color. Actually cut a slingshot out of it, and it had some weak spots in it, and I didn't like that. So actually this was it. I kind of cut it out and then I remelted it. Looks terrible. So that one was a fail, but this is a scrap of the zebra pattern. You can see how, I guess you saw the slingshot, so, but on the surface, not that great, but if you turn it up on edge, you can take advantage of some of that swirly pattern. I'm sure you can, that I've kind of folded that a little bit before I smashed it. So this scrap here is another one I posted at some point. That little bit of, there's kind of a goldish coloring stuff there. That's actually a little bit that was burned on the surface. Doesn't look too bad in this piece, but you can plane that off or sand it off. Some of the green bottle that I used, this was all soap bottles, had a little bit of a kind of an iridescent quality to it, and put a nice shiny chunky spots on the surface at times. So that was kind of interesting. I liked that combination. This is a remelt of the very first one I did. I had some green soap bottle and some purple soap bottle, lots of thin pieces, and I cut that first sling out, and I still had the scraps. So this is a remelt of that I haven't done anything with yet. As you can see, one of the problems I have is this browning or darkening of the surface at times. That can get mixed in. Maybe a sandwich press works a little better for avoiding some of that, I don't know. But well, this was my attempt at a brief video. Thanks, guys.